Building character through self-esteem. Before people start to consider how self-worth plays a key role in the development of character, thanks for watching. Welcome to Master Health Media Channel. Subscribe, make a comment, hit the bell icon, please and thanks. Many have forgotten that building character through self-esteem is indeed one of the most important aspects of personality development. As much as many people would hate to admit it, a more stronger foundation can be established with how a person builds character, especially when self-worth is a primary factor in shaping and molding the values and virtues of a successful individual. How is it so? Studies reveal that self-esteem is the value of a person's worth, and there are a lot of factors that come into play, especially in helping a person feel more confident about himself, which is also a primary factor in establishing a person's outlook towards ambition and success. It is said that a person who is more confident about himself, the more focused and determined the person is to aim for achieving a better state in life, regardless of whether it be for career, success, ambition, family, or personal attractiveness, among others. To better understand and define self-esteem, it is simply holding oneself in high regard as a result of several factors that determine a person's worth. Self-esteem does not seem to regard one as perfect, nor does it demand from a person to be faultless or blameless, rather, valuing the self as priceless or in high esteem. This is what makes a person proud of himself, or what makes them keep their head high in the face of tribulation or adversity, and can be considered a measure of a person's degree of response to life's circumstances, be it good or bad. Self-esteem can also help a person make good choices, especially when it comes to personal development, better learning, or physical beauty. Self-esteem does not start at birth, but as a person's consciousness develops and takes shape. This is when a person starts to measure himself as to his own value or worth. It then shapes how a person looks at himself and compares or assesses himself with the environment or his surroundings, and starts to ask himself, do people like me for being me? Do other people regard me as an example for others? How do other people look at me? My attitude and behavior towards life? These are but some of the common questions that help man understand and gauge his value as a person. People with low self-esteem are usually those who often do not regard themselves highly than they ought, or are simply those who do not want to risk making sacrifices for the betterment of their own personalities and character. Having good self-esteem is having the ability to make good choices and would less likely to follow a spur-of-the-moment decision without carrying or thinking things through. There is less likelihood that someone with a good sense of self-esteem make decisions that could lead to his own downfall by making the right decisions, taking to mind the value of his own personal feelings, safety, health, and well-being. A lot of people may tend to ignore or neglect what usually are some of the best measurements of achieving success or persistence in ambition than to explore the inner being, like how personality, outlook, and attitude affect their course of life. Building character through self-esteem is as equally important as the sense of ambition itself. Building your confidence with self-esteem. Much has been said about the spheres of power as an individual goes through the phase of wanting to achieve greater heights, but it is also basically important to begin with building your confidence with self-esteem before taking a step further. Initially, knowing the basics of leadership, influence, or success start off as a personal quest in dissecting the individual psyche, that of developing the person to be confident in himself through building self-esteem and the desire to succeed. But what exactly is self-esteem? In essence, it is someone's personal appraisal or evaluation of a person's own worth. Simply put, it is the sense of how a person establishes self-worth, which ultimately shapes the path for a person's quest in life. It is the concept of personality which can only be determined by the person himself. Extensive research has been poured out to give definition to self-esteem and how it plays an important role in personal ambition and residual success, how it helps shapes a person's character and also play a key role in developing personal priorities. In the field of psychology, the studies and researches on self-esteem has constantly been intended to explore and discover what people generally believe they need to be doing to establish their worth or value as a person, as well as the underlying effects of those beliefs. This personal pursuit is then responsible for that individual sense of satisfaction of basic human needs for independence, better learning, autonomy, physical health, mental stability, relationships, and self-regulation. There are several motivators behind the pursuit for self-esteem and what people commonly associate as the primary driver for establishing their self-worth. Virtue is one of those drivers for self-esteem as it defines a person's good qualities and the need for high merit, both personally and socially. Virtue answers the need for an individual's desire for acceptance into a social network. Another motivator in the quest for self-esteem is a person's quest for God's love, regardless of a person's religious belief or affinity. Man's innate need for a deity or a worship figure is surprisingly one of the most important need man aspires for in order to be at peace with himself, eventually resulting to a positive self-esteem. Many career-driven people, on the other hand, point out that there are also other factors that drive self-esteem. First, there's academic competence, which has become a yardstick and a measuring tool for those wanting to achieve greater opportunities in landing a well-paying and rewarding career. Others also feel confident about getting their self-esteem by way of enhancing their own physical appearances, especially those wanting to look more attractive, upon which their self-esteem is dependent in the outcome of their desire to become physically attractive. There are some who simply believes that by just gaining the approval of others, regardless of whether it be a personal, selfless or unsolicited action, they are able to acquire that sense of fulfillment and boost their self-esteem. To sum it all up, there are a variety of means and numerous ways for people to know what can help them boost their self-esteem, and acquiring it is a foundation and stepping stone to reaching those dreams and ambitions. Knowing that building your confidence with self-esteem is the next best thing to fulfillment and satisfaction. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Master Health Media channel. Subscribe, make a comment, hit the bell icon, please, and thanks. Blessings.